What's wrong with your arm?
That
Yeah.
this I got in a really cool story. I was getting bread out of the Breville for my daughter for a midnight snack, and I burnt my arm. That's what that's for. But my wife's like, let's put some aloe on it. It won't be a scar. I'm thinking, I want a scar. I want a scar. That's cool, right?
Yeah.
That's that's an earned tattoo in my book. I think it's I don't know how tattoos got started.
And it's
Just
free.
scars. It's free. I have them all over. I refuse to fix them. I like them. I think that's character.
What's
Did you hold on, did you know something about cool scars? Now this is
yeah.
historically accurate. You can look this up. So we all know like some of the greatest villains in history are the Nazis, right? And one of the cool things they did, I say cool as in maniacal, they would have duels. So like the higher officers would have duels against each other. So like different commander officers would have duels with swords, right? So with the battle, and it was a badge of honor if you could get a face cut. So like a cut here, here, wherever it is, because then what they would do, they had this procedure. I don't know what it's called, but they had this thing where they would actually open the wound and pack it with horsehair, and then sew it up so that
Oh,
that scar bulges and it makes them look terrifying. So if you like, go back and look and see some of the
oh,
Nazi higher ups,
yeah.
most of them have gashes and scar like crazy, gashes, and then they pack with horsehair, so it just like is raised. I'm not doing that with this. I'm not packing with horsehair, but
You
I do think
should.
scars are cool. You
Maybe you
know,
can put some pine straw in there. So you said you're getting bread out of the oven?
yeah, a little Breville or a little, Breville, whatever.
I'm not rich. What's a Breville?
So Breville is the higher echelon, if you will, of toasters, but it opens from the front. And it plays you music while you bake your bread, and gives
Oh,
you a
it's
little
for
massage.
kids.
No, dude, that Breville is like a brand. It's like
Oh, it's
Frigidaire.
like a air fryer.
I think they do make an air fryer. It's
Yeah,
like a
they open
brand.
from the front. Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, either way, I mean, it does the same job. But yeah, getting toast out. So it's not the coolest story ever, but I like a scar. I got a good one right here.
No,
Let me
yeah,
see
I
it.
mean, sometimes like you got one in your eyebrow?
Oh, dude, and my biggest one's right here. You can't see it because of the beard. True story. Brady, if you're listening, my brother, I was like 5. And I was playing in the kitchen. I had like a little glass cup on my mouth on the table, as you do. It's kind of like, joking around.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on the floor. He comes and steps on the back of my head. Boom! And
No.
jams my mouth into it, broke the glass, and gashed my lip right here. And so, yeah, it's cool. Let's go. You can't see it. I'll show you some other time.
I have a scar right here.
I was going to say, you look like you don't have any scars.
Oh, I have
You
probably more,
lived a very polished life.
I have more scars than you, my friend. A lot more surgery scars, though.
Well, that
Here,
ain't
we're
count.
playing pool at my friend's in high school, and it came down to I didn't have any balls left, and sort of just down to the 8 ball, but it's his shot. And so if he hits this, he wins. And so I was trying to distract him. I was like doing this thing, and I went like this, like down on the pool table, and he didn't. He hit it right then, and when he hit it, the ball actually jumped, which he didn't mean. He didn't mean for it to jump. Hit me straight in my eye and just gushed blood everywhere. Then we're running around to like Harris Teeter trying to find because we don't want to tell his parents. Like a big group of us, and my friend who's now in the DEA, he got me like a butterfly bandage, so I just put on my eye.
You're fine. You're fine.
Yeah. And then I have 6 knee surgeries. I've had 6 knee surgeries. So I have that.
God.
I've had a tore my ACL actually.
You're like
4
professional water skier. Why do you have so many knee surgeries?
Started in high school playing basketball, then high school playing football, and then in South Africa playing basketball. Then I heard it falling down Anna's stairs, helping her clean up one day. And so I have not gotten that repaired because that'd be my 4th ACL surgery. So I had 3 ACL reconstructions, 3 scopes, arthroscopic, to diagnose it.
Yeah.
And then this scar here. And then I have a scar that goes, I have a Joe Rogan scar.
No, okay. Let's see it.
You probably can't see it, but I had like a hair transplant. It's kind of the fold. That's where they do it.
Yeah. Is that what that's from?
Yeah, and so it's a terrible story because people are like, "Oh, what happened? Did you have brain surgery? Did you have?" And I'm like, "Oh, I had a hair transplant 10 years ago." It actually worked, but the way they do it, they take the follicle, they take the hair from the back of your head, implant it, because the hair on the sides will always grow. It's always just the top. So I didn't know that either. But like my dad, he was almost 80 when he passed away. Tons of hair here for the top. So they take it from the back because that hair for some reason will always grow, and they implant it on top. The problem is the other hairs eventually fall out. So sometimes like a Joe Buck who's on Fox, He's had 7 hair transplant surgeries. 7. One so bad he had to when he's having surgery, put him under. They put the trach thing and the tube down his throat. And when they took it out, it caused vocal cord damage, and he almost ended his career. He couldn't talk for like 6 months because of a hair transplant surgery. He's had 7, and when you see him, you're like, even with that, he doesn't have like a full head of hair. It looks good. And then Joe Rogan's done it 3 or 4 times, and he was like,
"What am I doing?" In today's society, is it more shameful to be bald or short?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the 90s was like, that's the big taboo. Not good to be bald. George Costanza, Seinfeld, for example.
Right.
But in today's society, this short king movement, that to me, that feels like a much worse hand. Honestly.
Yeah, no, and I'm not tall, but I'm 5'9", so I kind of get just barely past that.
Are you?
I am. Barely. Okay. I'm 5'9". Okay. And
you say so.
And I work with a guy that's 5'6".
Yeah, I know he is.
Like he feels, and people are like, "Oh, you're so short," and then with me, they're like, "I get a pass, barely."
Yeah. It is strange how it's kind of shifted. The zeitgeist is now short kings are the laughing stock.
Well, if you're bald with a beard in the you said the 90s, you were like a weirdo, or you're just kind of like, what's all with it? Or you just look super. Like women love that, which God bless women.
Well, I think also too it adds like a layer of masculinity. You know what I mean? Like having a bunch of facial hair and bald sounds like Viking to me, right? It's like a high level of testosterone, right? But short kings, it feels like a very low level of testosterone.
And the thing that sucks is, like with your height, there's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing you can do about it. Well, there actually is a surgery now. There's people like getting extensions to their legs. South Park made an episode about 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing that now. They're like, you literally can gain like 6 inches of height, but you look like an abomination. You look like literally made in a factory. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, because your legs, you can get your legs longer, but then your torso and your
That's
arms.
what it is. It's like a grasshopper standing on his hind legs. You know what I mean? He's like a little body, but really long legs. It doesn't look right.
No, it doesn't. So speaking of masculinity,
Ooh.
There's a lot of conjecture about a new James Bond. I heard Idris Elba. I've heard everything from Idris Elba to people like a Robert Pattinson.
Cynthia Erivo, probably. Let's put her in as James Bond.
Right, exactly. And they've nailed it down to one. I think it's probably the safest choice, and I'm excited about it.
The best choice, Henry Cavill. Me and Liv were talking about that. Like, there is no better choice for James Bond for me. And not only that, he's partnering with Chris Nolan, arguably the greatest film director of our generation, and they're doing 3 films together. It's going to be gritty. It's going to be dark. It's going to be masculine. It's going to be old school, like 70s James Bond. I hope they take it back in time. That'd be great. Take it back to like the 60s, 70s, and build up again. I think that'd be the way to go. Looks sick.
Oh, sorry, hold on.
We got a visitor.
Hey, it's in the bedroom. Okay. All right. Well, just give me a minute. I'll come get it for you. Okay.
I love the social.
Yeah, you can have that. Go ahead. You can have it. Daddy's got to continue. Just take it with you. Take the whole thing. That's yours. Love you. He's like, "Where's my tablet?"
Yeah, the social disconnect of kids is so refreshing. I love it. I'm a 4-year-old and 2-year-old. When they're in a room, like you can be having a serious conversation and someone's got diagnosed with cancer. You're like, "I'll be praying," and they're like, "Where's my stuffed animal, Mama? Where's my stuffed animal?" I'm like,
like, "Where's my ice cream?" You're like, "All right."
It's the best. Yeah.
Ezra, I'll have to come get it later. Just watch the show, okay? Okay, I'll be there in a minute. I promise. Ezra. Okay, I'll be there in a minute. Love you.
As if on cue.
Yeah, and I've done podcasts where he's here and he's fine, but
oh, dude, it's fine. He can be.
He recently got a tablet, and so that's kind of been the end all be all.
How old is he?
He's 4.5. He's almost 5.
Is it a tablet or is it an iPad?
It's a tablet. It's like it's a kids thing. It's designed for kids. The thing I read just the other day, like the worst thing for kids are screens. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I've heard the same thing. It fries their brain cells. And, the funny thing is, before having kids, I was like at a restaurant with my wife. We're looking at these parents who have their kids and their iPads up. And we're like, the lazy parenting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
It's
Yes.
just lazy. And then having kids now, I'm like, let's put a big screen in every room in our house so that wherever they go, they can have Frozen on, or they can have,
Yes.
Dino Ranch on, or whatever they're watching at the time. I don't care anymore.
No, and that's the thing. It's like it's human nature. We're so judgmental when it's that, and
It's true.
I remember being at church, and there was this couple, and they never had kids. They were older, and like in the Mormon church, I mean, it's known for having a bunch of kids, but it's church, and we don't separate. Like you don't have the kids go somewhere else. Like the main meeting, everyone's in it, and they've been to church for years. But every time a kid would start crying, they would like turn around, like at the parents, like you gonna take them out, and they're like,
all judgy,
right? And then I think I was probably that way a little bit. Like, why aren't you doing anything with your kids, or even at the restaurant? Like your kids are being loud, or they're on tablets. And the famous last words: "When I'm a parent, I will never let my kids do X, Y, and Z." You become a parent, and you're going to be doing X, Y, and Z and more because it's reality hits.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Speaking of Mormon church, dude, I was just in LA like a week and a half ago. Have you seen the temple in LA in Beverly Hills? I think it's in Beverly Hills.
I know there's one outside of San Diego that's magnificent.
Dude, no. The one in LA, it was like the grandest building I've ever seen in my life. I'm like,
oh, really?
So this is why Jared's part of the church. He's about this business, man, because I couldn't believe it. Most like you Southern Baptists, just shanties for the most part on the side of the highway. But then like some of the Mormon temple in Los Angeles, I was like, good God, that's like $1 billion compound.
Oh yeah.
Have. Oh,
you mean Michelangelo? Okay, love you. No, and so like our congregations that meet every Sunday are just like normal buildings, but then the temple is like where people get married, and it's like for only certain people that are living certain standards can go there. But those are like dedicated houses of worship. I mean, they all are, but it's like a next kind of, I don't say next level, but it's like more important things go on there. But yeah, that one, and
people rag like Joel Osteen for his church size, and I'm thinking Joel Osteen's church was like a fifth of the size of this compound, because I saw it like a mile away. I'm like, what? It looked like a just a city on its own, and they had like 10-foot wrought iron gates with pointy on the top, so you can't. I'm like, what? And it came across the sign. It was the Church of Latter-day Saints. I was like, dang,
I gotta say, going on the LA temple, because I'm not sure, because we have there's like. When I was growing up, since we're talking about this, like when my dad first joined our church, there was like 10 operating temples because they are expensive. And then they started doing smaller ones, believe it or not. And now there's like 200 different ones all across the world.
Business is booming, baby.
But the San Diego, you should Google San Diego temple. It's like, that's nice. Also, I wonder if that's it, because sometimes they're called a certain temple.
This is in, I think, Beverly Hills. If not, is 100% in Los Angeles. I didn't go to San Diego.
You see that or no?
Yeah, I can see that. That looked. I didn't get close enough. I couldn't see
inside San Diego. San Diego, San Diego is a little bit older, but it's like people think it's like part of Disney World or something.
Yeah, it looked like it was. It looked like Cinderella's castle in a way.
Yeah, this
is like all white and gold limestone. It was nice.
Yeah, they have one in DC that's really an older, bigger one, but like this. That's hard to see on here.
That's dope. That looks like a massive resort.
Is that not it?
I didn't get close enough. When I said I didn't get close, I was like 200 yards from it because the gate was right there and it was right beside the road. I just drove. I was driving by. I was like, "Jeez, this place is nuts."
It's they're beautiful, and then inside's really pretty and sacred to us.
Yeah,
but it's definitely and I think that mindset, because I think some people are like, "Oh, you're putting all this money," but it's kind of like it's like some symbolism of dedication to like,
sure,
this is our offering to God. Like, this is an important place, the house of the Lord. We want to make it as nice as possible. But they have gone more recently to like smaller ones so they could bring them closer to everybody. Because
I think that'd be like a sweet deal to have reporting of where all the tithe is going for all these churches. Like, let's audit it, because I think that's the problem a lot of people have, especially with tithing. I'm one of the people I'm like, if I'm giving it, I want to know where it's going. Salvation Army, wherever, I want to know where it's going, right? And I do have a problem when it's like you're giving, month, and then you got Kenneth Copeland or somebody go online saying like, "I need a second jet." It's like,
Right.
what?
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, Joel Osteen driving a LaFerrari, you know, a $700,000 car. It's like, I get that they make a lot of money, but I also get that they probably could do more good with not spending it on that crap, like
Right.
bare minimum, but then give it to. I'd have no problem with that. It's the business of it. It's the nasty, gritty,
Oh,
icky
sure.
feeling of business.
There's stigmas that get attached to it, and rightfully
Yeah.
so with some of the things, because then there's scandals with different churches. I know no one in our church gets paid. So everyone from the top to, I don't want to say bottom, but like I have a responsibility at church every Sunday. I mean, we don't get paid.
What's your responsibility?
I am the service coordinator for our ward.
For your war? What'd you say?
Ward is
Your ward.
ward.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're a congregation, and so you know any type of service projects or service or people that need assistance or whatever, that's what they do. But yeah, no, I mean I see it sometimes, and it's like, you know, I know our church puts out a detailed report every year. They're audited every year or self audit. They show you where every penny gets, and then they do a lot of humanitarian effort, like tons.
Yeah, I like where people put their money where their mouth is. You know what I mean? Like don't be telling everyone to be giving more, and then you're, you know, there's another one. There's another pastor. So going on a tangent. There's another pastor who's talking about. It's like a humble brag. He's on stage talking to his congregation. It's like, this Rolex I'm wearing, it's worth more than almost all y'all's houses. Every one of you, this Rolex more than your house. It's like, what's the point? And he's like, well, God blessed me. It's like, no, dude, you took money from the congregation, and then you're trying to encourage people to give more so that you can have a Rolex. It's like it's counter to. I have a problem, but it feels icky, and they should.
Oh, I'm with you.
Or lose their tax status. Like let that happen. Lose their tax status.
Right, and then all of a sudden,
happens.
Yeah, some people
it's an icky business too.
Can turn it into a business, and then they water down the message because they want more people there. So then they change things.
Well,
so they're like,
they're watering it down. They're trying to gather the masses, but really they're like losing the fervor and the whole point of the situation to begin with.
100%.
You know what I mean? So it's like in the watering down process. Back to James Bond, they could have gone one of two ways with it, and they decided to go the traditional masculine, alpha, violent. That's what they need to do, you know, as opposed to like, let's change. You know what we need to do? Let's change it. Let's make them humanitarian, and let's make it, you know, whatever, you know, gender, race. What it's like. This story was based upon this writing from Ian Fleming. Keep it Ian Fleming. Keep the story. It's like you don't change Lord of the Rings. You know, you don't do that. The writing is what made it good. You know, so with James Bond, thank God they didn't wet the bed on that one, because that would have been a disaster, and they can't afford another disaster.
And correct me if I'm wrong, like Henry Cavill, you know how sometimes you've said, like, and I think it could be in any industry, where sometimes the door closes and you're like, dang, I really wanted that. And then something else happens down the road. Like he was Superman for a little bit. And then I believe there were some talks of revamping Superman. And obviously Superman's coming out shortly with a different actor I've never seen, but it looks pretty good. And then they were like, no, they like, I guess negotiations fell through, and he was, my understanding was like really bummed about it. He's like, oh, they're going to revamp it and make it really extra good. And they're like, we're not going to, Henry Cavill's not going to continue to be Superman. And now it's worked out to his benefit, because Christopher Nolan and with Henry Cavill and the James Bond franchise, I mean, just Nolan alone.
Yeah.
But I think Cavill first came on my radar, is maybe different for you. I think it was a Mission Impossible movie. He has a fight scene in one of the bathrooms with, was that Mission Impossible?
He loads his arms like guns. Yeah.
And he's in a suit. I'm like, this dude's a wrecking ball. And he's a good guy.
He is, man. He's like the traditionalist, like masculine alpha dude. I saw him in the show The Tutors. I think it was on Showtime. It was like 2002, 2005. And then, you know, he did, like you said, audition for James Bond originally, actually, with Daniel Craig. He was in the final 3 running against Daniel Craig in 2005, whenever they were making that one. And so it went to Daniel Craig. And then, of course, Henry does Superman 1 and 2. And now he's like at the perfect prime age for a good James Bond. You don't want him too young. You want him like aged, weathered, scarred up. You know, I think that's the perfect time with a combination of Chris Nolan. It's gonna be amazing.
Well, so speaking of James Bond, let's think.
Water break.
You got to go. Okay, go ahead. So from in chronological order, you had Sean Connery from 1962 to 19.
Just gotta give her a little slap. Just a little slap. Remember that interview you did?
Yeah,
just slapping the woman. Sometimes you get a little sassy. You got to slap him a little bit. It's like, oh, God, he's saying this on air.
Yeah, it's like if that was an SNL skit, it would be unbelievable. But like he sat down with Barbara Walters and he's talking about women.
And it wasn't in the 70s. He had his interview. It was like early 2000s.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
It was like when people kind of woke up to like, I can't be physically abusing people. He stayed true.
Yeah, right.
And kudos to that guy. He didn't bend to the time and the pressures of society. He's like, nope. What are you going to do? I'm Sean Connery, biggest movies ever.
I was James Bond.
How many
openly talk about slapping women? It's crazy.
How many James Bonds was he in? Was he like?
I don't have that in front of me, but he did James Bond from 1962 to 1967. They brought him back in 71 and in 83. And the one that no one, I don't remember this guy, George Lazenby. He was 1969. That didn't work. Yeah. And Roger Moore was James Bond for 12 years, 73 to 85.
He was good.
He was good. Timothy Dalton was pretty good, but 87 to 89. I thought one that's real underrated is Pierce Brosnan.
Absolutely.
7 years.
We grew up on him.
What's that?
We grew up on Pierce Brosnan. My wife still says that's James Bond to her. It's not Daniel Craig. And I disagree. She's like, that's my James Bond.
When I think of James Bond, I do think of Sean Connery first, but then I think of Pierce Brosnan. And then, now seeing him in Mobland, man, it's just like the dude. I mean, he stopped James Bond 23 years ago in 2002. And I guess they didn't have a movie for about 4 years. And then Daniel Craig did 2006 to most recently. It says 2021 was the last one, but I'm not sure.
Because the last Pierce Brosnan one was just, as the kids say, dog water. It was horrible. It was like very, very so hokey, terrible CGI. So they took 4 years off, smart, and they went dark, gritty, and with Daniel Craig. Because to me, that's the best James Bond. There's not even questions. He's the best James Bond so far. I think Henry will be best because the last 3-film set that Chris Nolan did was Batman. The last trilogy was Batman. And you see how that was. So it's just like, goodness gracious, this guy brings a caliber that is unfounded to anyone else. So I could not wait to see that.
And he's only betting. And of course, he has more experience now since that. With Inception and Tenet and all these other incredible Interstellar. We were talking about him on our morning show just the other day because Will Smith. You see this? Will Smith said that he was offered I think he already said this before, but he was offered The Matrix and he turned it down before Keanu Reeves because he's like, I didn't understand it. Now he said this for the first time this week. He was offered Inception before Leonardo DiCaprio by Christopher Nolan. And he said he read the script and he's like, I don't get it. So he passed on it. And he said, those are the two biggest mistakes. He says beautiful scars. He said, and maybe you can speak to this as an actor. He says sometimes these sci-fi things, they don't pitch well. They're like, sometimes you're like, what is this?
It's so much imagination. It's so much. You got the Zyklons versus the and it's like, what? It's you get lost in the weeds because it's not so dialogue driven or it's a bigger picture. So I could definitely see that. Like, there's some things, dude. Audition World, for example, right now, it's like my agent's like, you got to say you know how to fly fish and you got to be really proficient at fly fishing. I'm like, I got this, man. I've never fly fished a day in my life, but I'm having an audition for this role in a lead for a film that's like, got to be a proficient fly fisherman. So what happens? I'll have to pretend and I'll get lessons between the film shooting. And when I get there, no one really questions it. It's really bizarre how often that happens. Everybody kind of just assumes if you act confident, I think people believe you know what you're doing. And that's just acting 101. It's just like walking in and be like, hey, I'm here to do my thing. But, if this happens, or, horseback riding, I think I told you before, years ago, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was coming out. They were casting at Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time. And I auditioned for the role that Austin Butler ended up getting. But they're like, you got to be really proficient in horseback riding. I'm like, I am great on horses. I was born on a horse. My mom is a horse. I can do this. And so the audition, and there was another audition. And so they kept ranching up, like, how good are you on a horse? And then after I eventually won one of the different auditions for that film, I didn't hear back again. So I guess I didn't get it. But then seeing Austin Butler in the movie, I was like, oh, thank God I did not get that movie because he is four-wheeling on those things, off-roading, downhills, sprinting, and he's like really good on horse. So I'm like, well, thank God they gave it to him because I would have been SOL.
So this fly fishing thing, is this something that's current or this is in the past?
No, this is right now. Like I'm taping it. I'm going to tape it tonight. Yeah.
Oh, your audition?
Yeah. Yeah, I got the sides over there. I've been studying all day. Yeah, it's
Can you explain what sides are to people? Because it's
yeah. So sides are like a scene. basically it's the scene dialogue. I'll get it for you so you can see it.
Yeah.
Some people have never seen it before.
I don't think I heard sides until I don't know, you Jason Bateman, or it might have been you where you said I got these sides. I'm like, what sides?
Yeah, so sides, only see it, but like you won't see the dialogue. But it looks like this, and I'll have your name watermarked on it so that if it ever leaks, they know whose pages got leaked. And so that's like a safety thing for them. But it's just a scene basically that you'll go through, and there'll be a couple scenes sometimes, and you have to make them look believable. And it's incredibly complicated now because used to people would go on in a room and audition. They would go into the casting director. The casting director would give notes. They would do their audition. They would leave, and the next person comes in. There's in the room fervor and feel and energy when you go in the room. Everything now is taped. The good news about that is you don't have to be anywhere like Los Angeles. You can live anywhere else besides Los Angeles. But the bad thing about that is it's so competitive because people have only gone on tape now that they are shooting what we call it is shooting film coverage as an audition, meaning the lighting, the sound, the dynamic, it's moving. Like they'll have a director of photography shoot an audition with the mic and say it's like a full on. It looks like it's a scene from the film. So you have to have the setup to have your scene look like it actually would belong in a film. Which in my situation with this movie, it's like it includes a fly fishing rod. So I went to Walmart today looking for a fly fishing rod. They didn't have any. My neighbor had a fishing rod I could borrow, and it's like 12 feet, whatever it is. So I'm in the audition room kind of practicing how I'm going to throw the line and make it look real. I'm like, this is going to be either great or disaster. I don't know what
Yeah. Well, at least the thing when you record it, you don't have to send, if you're live, and that's it.
Yeah.
But also, I'm sure back in the day, if you're in person, you're not going to have the fly fishing thing. I mean, maybe at some point. But then you also, I think one thing that might hurt you a little bit, I think in the room, because I think you're naturally charismatic. That's one thing everything is more palpable in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think, so that probably hurts you a little bit because you are charismatic but I mean, it can,
no, 100%. I think in the room, which I've done a lot of those in the room, you can build a rapport with someone really quick and you can read their energy. When you got someone just looking at a tape, either they're going off 80% look, like being honest. Do you look like the person that the writer had in mind when they wrote the script? If you do, great. And if you can act, even better. Because for the most part, if you have a good director and a good script and you look like the person, a director will be able to guide you and they'll do short, choppy takes. So you won't have to be acting, 10-minute, monologue. They'll chop it up. So you really don't have to do more than 3 or 4 seconds of acting at a time if you're just a terrible actor, which I've seen before. It's like we've had a different setups for cameras because actor wasn't there. I'm not gonna say who wasn't able to get there. So like, we're gonna have to shoot, multiple cameras same time, and we're just going to chop it up so that you can't tell the floundering nature of the actress or actor. So it does happen for sure.
Yeah. Well, good. Break a leg, I should say. Is that what you say?
I don't. Yeah, I guess I don't.
No, I know it's for stage. It's break a leg, but I don't know.
No, for us, it's hey, crush puss, dude.
Oh, okay. We'll do that.
That's just hey, crush. I was like, all right.
I'm sure you could do that. Sorry about
or pipe cheeks, just pipe cheeks. I'm like, okay,
pipe cheeks. I like pipe cheeks better. Smash cheeks.
Smash cheeks. That
cheeks.
seems like a little. I don't know. A little different from what I usually do.
Banging beef. I don't know.
Banging. Keep coming with them. Keep coming on.
I don't think. I don't know if we should or not. I want you to get this one.
They won't see this before.
How long does it take to find out? With this, I guess it just depends.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's not to take away from cancer survivors. It's like your doctor oncologist going to call you with your report when we get the results, and you're just like you there's so much on the line potentially for some of these. Most of them, it's like these are amazing situations to have and land this role, but you get very little feedback, if any, and you just don't hear. And then your email will ding, and then your agent's like, offer. Oh, sweet, great. But even when we get offer, there's so much more has to happen. It's like scheduling dates, and then what if your offer is crap? Or what if your agents push too hard, which I've had happen. Managers push too hard. They're like, we want this billing, we want this, blah, 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 blah. They're like, forget it, don't worry about it. And that's happened. So I mean, there's so much going on that a dynamic that you have to map it out, because no one specific thing controls the end result. It's 1,000 things have to happen for that end result to happen. And so that's part of the frustrating thing with being actors for a lot of people I've talked to, is that you don't get the feedback, so you don't know if you're doing right or wrong. And also too, you're on a wing and a prayer hoping for a long shot to happen, and that's how
Right.
most people live their day to day. And it's like, if that long shot doesn't happen, you're bartending for 20 years, which happens a lot, and it's a
Yeah.
very sad thing to see happen. So it's, to say competitive, it's
I don't
competitive.
know if you know about attachment styles in relationships, but they're securely attached. This is in dating or marriage, or it really can be any relationship, but especially in dating.
What about just hooking up?
But I'm telling you, it makes a big difference. But you can either be securely attached, anxiously attached, disorganized attachment style, or dismissive. If you're anxiously attached, I feel like if you're an anxious person, I could not survive that. Like, hey, here's this thing that could change my life, and then sit there and wait and hope. But I
Yeah.
guess you're too busy, keep doing other things, and then it seems like once you
Well,
start.
you try not to think about how your life is going to change when this role hits, because that's the knee-jerk reaction. It's like buying a lottery ticket and not thinking about what it's going to feel like to win the lottery. Like, it's
Right.
impossible. So like when you're auditioning, you see, oh my God, this is the person directing. These are the other stars. Here's the shoot dates. Can I shoot those dates? Oh, that'd be awesome. And you start planning, like, I wonder where we're going to stay. I wonder, and then like you try to just refrain the fact of, I heard just so perfectly articulated that auditioning is the job of an actor. That is the job. Now, a lot of times it's unpaid because you can pay audition, but that is the job of the actor. And then whenever you actually get the role and you're on set, that's the vacation. That's literally the time you're able to
I love
relax,
that.
and you can. And it is. It's like when the contract's signed, it's like this biggest like a relief, but then this anxiety shows up about a week later, and you're like, I have 200 pages of dialogue. I have no idea what's on any of them. They're rewriting it every day. So like you have get updates every week, I mean every day of in your email. Here's new script, and they'll change scenes up on you. And so I wouldn't want to do anything else. That's for sure, because I love the challenge that there is no one specific answer. There's 1,000 answers that can make it happen. But I do, with some hesitancy, encourage people to do it, because unless you are someone who's either psychotic or insane or like half dead, it's going to affect you when you constantly fail publicly, and then you book the job and the movie sucks, or the director's terrible and cut the best footage of you, and they use this take, they should use that take, and then people are like, oh, you're a terrible actor. You're thinking,
Yeah, I heard
why
somebody
did
talk about
that?
that recently, where they go to the movie and they were expecting it to be a good. I can't remember who it was, good movie, and they're like, oh, this director at that time was not as experienced, and they kept all like what he thought was the wrong takes, and it made the movie look bad. It made him look bad, and he's like, so you just have to. He said, I got to the point where it's like, unless you have more control,
Yeah,
you do your part. You can have input, but at the end of the day, they're going to do their thing, and that's it. That's all you
that's
can
it.
do. And
That really is. Yeah.
well, there's an actor I actually met. Oh shoot, it's the thing Danny something, but he got the role of Marv or Harry for Home Alone. He was shooting with Joe Pesci. Was Joe Pesci, whoever was not Joe Pesci? I get their
Yeah.
names mixed up. And
Marv.
yeah, so he
Marv.
was. They were shooting. He booked it. And of course, no one knew Home Alone was going to be Home Alone.
Mm-hmm.
And then about a week or two into shooting, I mean, they'd already filmed a lot of it. He and Joe Pesci had no chemistry, and Pesci obviously was a big star, and he was like, "It ain't working with this guy." And then he was cut from the film, and then they inserted the other actor. I think it's Daniel Stern Daniel Stern, and
And they had to reshoot it.
and who's iconic in the role. And then the other guy's career kind of, he still acts himself, but kind of floundered. And the Home Alone, was this big, huge, surprising success. But that would be like you get cast, you're in it, you're already doing the scenes, you're with Joe Pesci, you're telling all your friends, and then they're like, this ain't working. And then, I just can't imagine telling everybody.
Well, the same thing happened with Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future. They had a new actor for Marty McFly. They had filmed,
that's right,
like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of footage. And
it's the guy who looks like Conan O'Brien a little bit. He has like red hair.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. And Spielberg just like, nope. And so they had to do, can him and then book Michael J. Fox, which was, of course, Back to the Future, maybe one of the top most popular movies of all time. I mean, for sure, and a great movie.
And
But yeah, imagine that's another thing. It's like even when you made a kill, it can get up and run away.
yeah,
So
right,
you cannot relax until you're like done with the job, and then at that point you're like, I didn't even enjoy shooting the whole stupid thing in the first place.
right, yeah.
I
And
was
you're
so
like,
stressed the whole time.
there's so much out of your control. So you just have to be.
Ah,
It's a personality type where you just have to let go and just do your thing.
yeah.
And also with Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future, which I thought was fascinating, is that he was shooting Family Ties at the same time. So he would go shoot 12, 14 hours and go to the Back to the Future set. And he says there's weeks he doesn't remember because he just wasn't sleeping. And then the movie came out. He's like, I don't remember even shooting that scene, which is pretty
And I think a
remarkable.
lot of the scenes, if you remember, like took place at night in
Yeah,
that movie, specifically because of that reason. I heard that somewhere, I don't know where, but that they had to rearrange the shooting schedule. Like the mall shooting scene may have been supposed to be in the day, or the
right.
last scene when you know the big thunderstorm's coming, that may have been during the day. I don't remember which one scenes it was, but they had to change it based on his schedule. But that's power to be able to do that on set. But usually only producers, executive producers, can have that kind of power. Most time, actors are just like mercenaries in a way. They hire you, you're a hired gun, you go and you do your thing and you get out. It's not a collaborative effort as much as it is if you're a producer and you create this thing, and then now you're able to, from infancy, you're able to grow with it and have more control that way.
Well, well, good luck with your audition.
Thanks, man.
Now, and is this? Can you say that? Is it for like a big? Maybe could this be a life changing get? That's you can't
I don't
even
know.
say that.
I don't know.
All right,
I can't talk
I know.
about
I
it.
know you can't say much. All right, I won't press you.
I can't talk about it.
You can't talk
So
about it.
let's
But you're
just say
excited about
maybe
it.
Henry Cavill isn't going to be James Bond, because James Bond and the next one is me, and it's fly fishing.
Oh, I can't wait. That's a new
Fly
take.
fishing.
Just him
Yeah,
flying.
it's really a bold take from Chris Nolan, but I trust him.
Yeah, I mean he's James Bond in retirement. They're gonna make you look old and put your
No, it'll be youthful James Bond, but it'll be I'll let you know how we shoot it.
just a lot of fly fishing. Well,
It is a lot of fly fishing. I'm kind of like, but it is in August, and which means it's not gonna be cold. That's one thing. I was like, if we're shooting in the river when it's cold, that's gonna be a nightmare. But it shoots in August, so we'll see.
well, I guess you'll find out one way or another in the next little bit because August is just around the corner.
You would think, right? You would
Yeah.
think. I've auditioned for things and then heard back 4 or 5 months later, and they're like, "Hey, you booked it. You ready to shoot?" I'm like, "Yeah." Oh yeah, we had delays. Oh no. No one told you. No,
Like,
you didn't get that email. No one told me. Like, yeah, we sent an email 4 months ago. Okay.
You're like, what?
Yeah, that's insanely frustrating.
I seriously couldn't do it, dude.
It's you have to be a crazy kind of person to attempt it.
Well, you are crazy.
I am that, if nothing else.
My son Ezra's back. That's my cue to I gotta roll
All
out.
right, dude.
I enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, it's fun. We'll see you on the other side.
And break that leg.
Break something. Breaking heart.